Hello, hello, Elle. What a beautiful morning. How are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm pretty good. I'm on a vacation, but yeah, how are you?
I'm super great. It's 6 a.m. here in Abu Dhabi, but we're gonna make it, right? So I'm excited for today's episode. Are you excited?
Of course, it's a friend of mine.
So let me just introduce to you our guest speaker for this episode. Okay, so he is a amazing person. Okay, so he needs no introduction because guys, he has a lot of accomplishment. He has an experienced hands-on strategist with proven track record in regional digital marketing for over a dozen tech startups across Southeast Asia. He helps startups launch, acquire new users, and expand in new markets. He has a lot of businesses, and just to name a few: Hunger Management, Break Vegan Fast Food, and Tapat Barbecue, an event organizer, serial entrepreneur, a marketing and community director, and many more. Let's all welcome Christopher Starr. How have you been, Christopher?
Eh,
Hi, all good. How are you?
We're great.
That's a lot, actually. Mm. how did,
Overwhelming.
how did- but yeah, I really want to know more. The story behind Christopher Star. Like, you have this Christopher Star now, but I want to know, like, your story, how you got here into this industry. But yeah, I'm so excited to know your story.
Yeah, I'm also very much excited to share my story, and thank you again for inviting me to your show.
No, thank you for being here with us. Actually, I know you have a really busy schedule, guys. So yeah, we're gonna give the mic to you. Like, how did you get to Christopher now? Like,
Okay, that's going back to maybe like I don't know, 20 years or probably more. But I think I've been in the industry in digital specifically for about 18 years. So I started way back when it wasn't even called digital marketing yet. So back then it's like web marketing, e-marketing, or internet marketing. That's really when I got started. And I actually just tweeted recently that I think I started building websites as just like a hobby, maybe for almost a quarter of a century, meaning 25 years ago. I've already been building websites and just trying to explore the internet. And I couldn't even imagine that it's possible that, in a big chunk of my career was really focused on digital. And I make money basically by staying online, being online, and understanding how people behave online, being able to communicate to them. So most of my career has been focused on digital marketing, specifically user acquisition, and usually done through paid advertising and kind of develop into social media marketing to also later on more on back then I would still call it blogger relations, and now it's been developed towards influencer marketing. And I've also transitioned recently to becoming a content creator myself, and also going live stream, podcasting, creating content online. And I've also become an entrepreneur in between those years. I've started my own digital marketing agency. I've started a cloud kitchen. And right now I started what I call a micro accelerator that's focusing on the food business. And now I'm also into Web3. Love to talk more about that later, but it's amazing that I was able to kind of be part of that whole journey from Web 1 to Web 2 to Web 3. And yeah, and I've been known predominantly for marketing, but I've also done a lot of general management roles in the past, especially pre-pandemic, and also kind of worn different hats from the client side, as a marketer, but also I've been on the agency side. So I've had my own digital marketing agencies, clientels ranging from startups to big brands. And I'm also a mentor. So a lot of times it's a challenge for me to actually explain what I do in just like a short sentence. A lot of people will be able to say like, yeah, they're a doctor, they're a lawyer, or they're one or two, three jobs. And I'm kind of like a lot of it. And so I'm officially a slashy.
That's actually a lot. So he's one of the pioneers. So when it comes to like because he's been there like web 1, web 2, web 3. I I'm actually confused now. Like
I'm overwhelmed. You have a lot of credentials. How do you manage everything?
I think
Yeah, well,
uh,
I think in terms of time management, I've always been someone that learns things fast, and I enjoy multitasking. So that's, I think, a skill, but also kind of like a personality. I think a lot of people excel better when they just focus on one thing. I kind of am the opposite. That I feel like I actually thrive more when I'm challenged and when I have, and I think it helps because I'm in a, I would say, more or less a creative industry, and creatives, it's not a job that you sit down for an hour and you'll be able to think of an idea and that's it, right? It creatives would need inspiration, and so it takes a lot of time. And I don't like wasting my time just thinking about another a solution, right? So I think that's why I do multitasking. I think that's why I thrive so much in a creative space, because I'm able to do multiple things, but that's also helping me in terms of my creativity, if that makes sense.
that's that's actually nice. Like you transitioned from being this to from then to now. Like I'm actually really curious if I may ask. Like you really started young because you look so young. You look 25 or something. I thought you're like 25. Yeah, he looks younger. So I'm really confused.
Yeah, I did start young. So I started creating websites, I think, when I was in grade school. There was still no code back then. I would be creating website where I'll put a chat room. Back then, there's no social media. So I'll just ask my classmates to go to the website after school and we'll just chat there. I and unlike other schools, my school didn't really teach us how to do it, because in other schools it's actually part of their curriculum to create websites for their batches. So I was kind of like, okay, why can other schools do that and my school in my class doesn't have our own website? And so I was kind of competitive that way, so I've created a website for my class, and that's kind of like the journey of me just creating websites eventually, and creating my own blog and creating my own e-commerce site. Um, yeah, so I started way back when I was in grade school. But my work experience, of course, I started when I was 17. That's when I first decided I wanted to do a business. I was first year in college, just got in college. My mom made a bag out of a recycled um, old jeans, brought it to school. Everyone was asking me, where did you get it? The security guard would ask me as well, like, nice bag, where did you get it? And so I decided there's an opportunity there. So I started selling bags, and that's my first business, officially launching it when I was 18 years old, and also putting it online at the age of 18. So that was 18 years ago. So you can do the math in terms of my age.
Wow, at the really at a young age you have this entrepreneur spirit. So you found an opportunity and you made a way. Wow. I'm so amazed. You still have that bag right now?
I think I still have the bag at home, but I don't use it anymore. And the business only lasted for about a little over a year. But within that year, I was able to sell it in about 8, 9 stores in Metro Manila. So I was available back then in Market, was available in Alabang Town Center. So if you guys are familiar with the concept of consignment, so that means I would give my products to a store and it will try to sell it for me. So I was doing that, and that's why I was able to expand to about 9 stores,
Oh.
all under a year while studying in college when I was still 17.
He really must have a really good connection. Like he's really good into socializing as well. He has a really a big network, I can say, because I connected with a lot of people through Christopher as well, through that serial entrepreneur club. Like I'm so happy that he made it. But yeah, we're talking about the entrepreneurship part, but aside from making money out of it, like why did you pursue entrepreneurship aside from making money, right? So I
Right.
know.
I think it has never been my interests or my main reason for doing a business is the way I would make money. Otherwise, I'll probably be in less innovative, less exciting businesses. Because if you think about really making money, there's so many things or business models that you can apply, like franchising. You can do buy and sell. These are much more lucrative businesses, but I'm not really interested in that. So for me, the way I start my businesses is always not even about passions. A lot of people talk about like, I'm passionate about something, I want to turn it into business. For me, it was more about opportunities. I saw an opportunity, and a perfect example, I brought a bag, my mom made it, and people asked me where did I get it. So that's where I saw an opportunity that, okay, maybe people also want to buy this. And I like the fact that we're recycling, we're reusing existing products, right? That would otherwise would be thrown out, and we're able to um, get the value up higher, because usually we get the pants for way cheaper, and through some added labor we're able to 10x the value and sell it to the market. And so I see that huge potential. And also I always try to inject a way to incorporate to make it like an impact business. And so we were initially thinking that because it would require a lot of hard work, that we'll be able to actually allow people within our neighborhood to be able to make extra money by creating the bag, because the bags are not complicated to make. We can just provide the training and also the design. So for me, it's always about opportunity and impact. Even at that young age, I didn't realize I was trying to do impact venture, impact in investing back then. But now looking back, it's I always try to see if I can incorporate a way to like give back to the community, or to help other people, instead of just like focus on your margin or focus on just making a lot of money. It's always about opportunity for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Being an entrepreneur is more than just making an income. It's about giving back to people. So out of all the roles that you have said, your credentials, your accomplishments, being an entrepreneur, being a director, being a mentor, what is your favorite part? Which one is your favorite part, your role?
Actually, it's only now that I'm very much focused on community building. So I'm currently marketing and community director for a Web3 project called Green Token. It's based out of Hong Kong. And I think connecting to the community is something I really enjoy a lot. And it's not just meeting people, but also being able to help, being able to connect people to one another. It's something I enjoy a lot. I mean, that also gives me an opportunity not just to like share what I know, but also learn from people I meet. And so I would say I enjoy that the most.
I think you have gone a long way since grade school and now connecting to a lot of people, making opportunities for and giving back to people. So, in the long run, how do you envision your business, your many multiple business? How do you envision it running in 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. And in terms of my businesses, I'm really hoping that we'll be able to create more jobs. We're hoping to also be able to um, kind of like innovate more and offer something unique to the market. I think that's extremely important for us. And also, I'm so happy with my current role, and also the kind of business I get into is because I think ultimately the kind of businesses that you want to do is also something that helps in terms of some sustainability goals of all countries, including ours. And I think food security is number one. And so being able to offer and not romanticize, but kind of normalize vegan options, or at least vegetarian options, is extremely important. It's a message that also now is becoming clearer to people, that food security is connected to veganism, because of so many, environmental impacts of eating meat. And so while I'm not vegan, I used to be vegan and I'm not at the moment. But what's great about the business that we do right now and what we hope to happen in the 5-10 year span is that we're able to influence and normalize it to everyone, rather than romanticize it. Because I feel like right now in the market, veganism is seen as a form of activism, or is romanticized to be like an expensive lifestyle. We really want to make sure that we're able to lower down our costs. We're able to offer it much more affordable, or at least competing price with your favorite burgers. And so hopefully, 5-10 years from now, more people are not necessarily vegan, but are very open or is mixing veganism into their diet.
So we're talking about your businesses, right? Of course, you had setbacks, since setbacks are bound to happen from one time to another, right? So while they can be challenging and disorienting, they also present a powerful opportunity to bounce back. So, what are some of the challenges or setbacks that made you come back stronger, right? Since you have a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple um examples I can think of, but I guess I'll focus on the most recent one. So, pre-pandemic, I had this idea of creating a cloud kitchen startup, and this is way back when people don't even know what a cloud kitchen is, and I even don't know that I was trying to build a cloud kitchen. I saw again an opportunity. I saw that people were starting to eat while working at their offices, and it's becoming extremely hard to line up at your favorite restaurants every lunchtime. And so people are starting to order food. And as an employee, it's very difficult for you to eat the same thing every day. And so I saw an opportunity to offer a service, and apparently it is a cloud kitchen service. And unfortunately, despite that, a lot of food businesses actually thrived during the pandemic. Um, our business had a different faith because our investor decided not to put more money because it was really difficult for them as well. So we were one of the few businesses that was running at that time within their portfolio, and they decided not to put more money or release the rest of the money that they actually invested in us. And so fast forward to today, have kind of reinvented the wheel in a sense that I'm more focused on just investing and operating rather than the former model. And I wouldn't say that we've completely kind of gone full circle on that because there's still a lot of struggles at the moment. But I have more control now that it's all self-funded. Of course, it would be ideal to have external money, but it's extremely important that you have control with your finances, because a lot of startups, they might not have money, and that was our case last time. We had money, but we didn't necessarily have control over it, and that's what cost us to close the business eventually. And that's kind of something I'm trying to change now, is that I think in VCs and seed angel investors, we're romanticized a lot on media, and so a lot of founders that I speak with would always talk about, I want to raise money, I want to scale. And we went to that route. And I feel like if I could have done it all over again, I would probably bootstrap my business so I had more control.
Talking about investing, startups, what would be your message to those who are interested in pursuing a different career, like being an entrepreneur, being a marketing director, mentor?
Yeah. Well, in terms of whatever career you want to do, number one, I think in terms of career shifters or people who are just about to start their careers, it's extremely important to gain experience. And that's kind of like, okay, how do I gain experience when I don't have an experience, right? And so it's important to look for opportunities that you're able to volunteer your time, whether you're paid volunteer or unpaid one. You have to look at it from the perspective of you're trying to gain experience. And so if you can't get that from school, if you can't get that from your current job, if you're a nurse and you want to be a developer, it is possible, but there are sacrifices that you might need to take, and that might include getting a pay cut, maybe that include, resigning from your job so you can actually work for someone else. But these sacrifices would always have a good outcome. But at any job, it's always experience that drives. As much as you have a good university degree, a good university that you graduated from, in reality, none of those truly matter when someone comes into the door with experience. So nothing pays you more than having experience. Nothing teaches you better than experience. And so if you're looking into, I want to change career, I want to start my career, it's always about getting the right experience. So feel free to reach out to people you look up to, because that's how I got started. I didn't have a marketing degree. I actually took up political science. And so I had to volunteer my time to people that I look up to and reach out to them and offered my services for free so I could be mentored, so I could learn the ropes and get that experience. And after 6 months, after a year, I could then now start applying jobs elsewhere and be able to use the experience that I've gained.
Yeah, I mean, especially now these days, there's a lot of businesses who wants to have like internships. I've been there as well. Like I've had my services for free for 6 months, and after 6 months, I applied to some of the clients, and yeah, that really paid off, really. So I have the skills now. Um, hello, Jamie,
Hello, yeah.
are you okay?
Hello. Yeah. Christopher, as we are all aware, we're under, we're still, the global recession is going on. So, how do you, what are your strategies to fight off, to maintain in this industry market? How do you fight off this ongoing recession?
Right. I think it's extremely important to focus on profitability rather
Mm,
than growth or scale. So on a good market, usually you can then focus on expansion, you can focus on R&D, and you can focus on basically using your money to explore new business opportunities. But in my opinion, during your sessions, during a bad market, it is a time that you focus on surviving, and so you have to focus on profitability. Now, also, what I would say is always follow money. So during a good market or a bad market, even during the pandemic, people still make money. The question is, where is money moving? The question is, where is the opportunity? So, for example, during pandemic, obviously a lot of medical supplies was a big hit because there's a great need for it. And so I know for a fact a lot of people made a lot of money during those times because that is what is needed. So it's not true that during the pandemic there is no economic, activities. It probably is a little bit less, but the truth is it's still happening because one way or another people still need to eat, people need to transport things. So business as usual. And even during recession, that's exactly what's happening. People are probably gonna not stop buying, but they probably would downgrade. They probably would sell off their products. They probably would consider buying secondhand instead of brand new. And so there's that opportunity. So don't look at bad market as there's no opportunity or I can't make money during this bad season, but rather it's a question of where is money moving, and is there an opportunity I could take so I could take advantage of it. But at the same time, instead of exploring new unknown frontiers, is also okay. How do I cut budget? This is why unfortunately we hear a lot of layoffs recently, isn't because they're already effective. It is because to survive, they would have to start considering taking out some expenses. It is really a bad it's a bad season. I mean, it's not just happening in Philippines, but it's extremely important to be prepared. And I think on a personal level, in terms of personal finance, it's extremely important to always invest in your emergency fund at least 6 months to up to at least a year. So that should there be any problems like your business goes under or you lose your job, you're still able to survive at least for the next 6 to 12 months looking for, because these are seasons, right? It doesn't last forever. So while it might last for over 2 years or so, but still, I'm pretty sure if you lose your job, you lose a business, you'll be able to come back up within a year. And so it's important to at least prepare money for your emergency fund.
Yes. So for those who are thinking to start their own business, even during this pandemic, there's always an opportunity. I mean, businesses, there's ups and downs, but there's always an opportunity in every adversity, right? So, um, I've seen in your stories the Web3. So I want to know more about Web3. How does it work?
Sure. Web3 is kind of complex to discuss, but in essence, it's very focused on this new technology called blockchain. And the blockchain technology powers all of it. So you might heard of cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Ethereum. You might have also heard of NFTs or non-fungible tokens, DAOs or decentralized autonomous organizations, and many more. All of that is really powered by blockchain technology. Now, the blockchain technology essentially kind of changes how data is stored and transferred, because traditionally everything is centralized, meaning it's coming from one computer or one entity or organization. For example, Facebook owns our data that's created on Facebook, and that's centralized. That means it's controlled and owned by one corporation, which is now called Meta, right? Now, in decentralized blockchain technology, this is now being shared by multiple computers rather than one owner. So the multiple computers basically is able to validate the data as true and correct, based on verification on multiple computers rather than just one computer or one organization. Or, for example, your bank saying that, yes, you have this money in your bank, but they can also say like, oh, actually, you don't have any money on your bank account, and they can make that decision with just a click of a button from their end, because there's only one entity that owns everything. Now, that's the beauty of blockchain technology, is that even if one changes that data from one computer, it won't be changed on all, because when you start validating it, it would show that majority would actually show that the data entry is different from what is changed from the other. So essentially, that's where it all started. But the application of decentralization is also applied in multiple things. For example, the concept of interoperability, which means that you're able to operate an asset that you can bring in multiple games. In the past, when you have, let's say, your skin on Mobile Legends, you can only use that inside Mobile Legends, but you won't be able to use it as a filter on Instagram, right? You can't use that and add it on a new game. But the concept of blockchain is that you're actually be able to bring that on to another platform. And so when you start thinking about that, and then there's also the concept of digital ownership, right? And so many other things. That's really what Web3 represents. It's really changing a lot of things that we're so used to, because of just that piece of technology that enables to kind of flip the whole business concept that we're familiar with. And also in terms of ownership, usually whoever invests as a capitalist gets majority of the earnings. And with Web3, the concept is that the community is not just empowered to make changes about these products, but are also able to earn as part of that system, because they're able to track their contribution to that business or to that project, right? So it's not just your capital, but your sweat equity is now able to be traceable. Because, for example, when you're starting a business, like one of your business founders won't be putting the same capital as everyone, but he will get or she will get an equal share. But how do you measure that this person's actually contributing as much as those who contributed money, right? So with blockchain technology or Web3, that is possible because of the technology. So the discussion of Web3 is so broad, and
Yes.
we can go on about it, but that's what I'm so excited about the technology. More than, because a lot of times when you talk about Web3, it's about making money, it's about cryptocurrency. I invest on Bitcoin, become millionaire next day, or I play a game like Axie, and then I can quit my job, etc. I don't really like to talk about it from that perspective because that's speculative, and in reality, that's going to be short lived. Um, what will last longer would be all of these things that I've discussed earlier.
Amazing. I'm sure that our listeners would love to know more about the Web3. I mean, I'm interested to know more. And it will take, not just 35 minutes to talk about the Web3. I know that there's more to that. So I know our listeners would love to connect more with you, would love to know more about their restaurants, your company, your businesses. I want to get mentored by you. Where they can connect with you, Christopher? Your
Sure.
socials, Instagram.
Yeah, just look up Christopher Star on all social networks. I'm most likely gonna be there. I'm mostly active on Instagram. I recently am very active on Twitter because of Web3. But if you want to connect professionally, I'm also on LinkedIn. And if you want to learn more about Web3, I highly recommend you guys join our Facebook group. It's called Web3PH. And if ever this comes out before our summit, we are also launching a summit at the end of this month called Web3PH Summit. Should you be able to join that or not, just feel free to join our Facebook group for sure. We have multiple events that will be happening until the rest of the year and hopefully until next year. And so if you're interested not just to learn, but also to network with like-minded individuals, I highly, highly recommend for you to join our Facebook group.
So, dear listeners, please join the Facebook group. And do you have an event coming here in Dubai? I mean, I'm living here in Abu Dhabi. Do you have an event here?
None yet, but would love to visit. I've never been to Abu Dhabi. So my plan as well is that probably by next year, if I can travel more, I do plan to bring serial entrepreneurs in different cities, and be able to recruit people who would like to kind of launch it in their city and be able to continue it. So right now, serial entrepreneurs is just in Metro Manila, usually happening in BGC in Makati, and hopefully we'll be able to do one in the south and also in Quezon City. But also we now have a Cebu chapter, I would say. And so they've been organizing on their own. I've done once, and now they're actually planning an upcoming mixed serial entrepreneurs. So they will have both founders and students to meet and connect. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to bring it to other cities.
Yes,
It's one
and
of the
I'm
countries.
looking forward to that.
Yeah, other countries.
Come here in Abu Dhabi and other countries as well. I mean, people would love to connect more with other entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
startups. I mean, connecting with like-minded people, positive people, like amazing.
I
I
was
mean,
actually, because I'm moving to Netherlands next month. I was actually looking at some communities that's like the same with serial entrepreneur because it was fun. Like I was so thankful that I went there. Like, but I can't really see something like somewhere around the city. Maybe we can talk about that, like serial entrepreneur being in Netherlands.
For sure. Actually, a lot of friends who've attended serial, that's our only rule is that you've attended serial entrepreneurs so that you know the format and you can promise to keep the quality. More than happy to enable you to bring it to any city.
Yeah. I'll message you. But yeah, thank you so much for being here with us. I know you have a really busy schedule. We're really grateful. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please follow us on Instagram at the Extraordinary Talk as well. And please rate us 5 stars minimum. Kidding here on Spotify. So
and
yeah,
don't forget to follow Christopher Star.
yeah. Thank you so much, Christopher. It was nice, really. It was nice. Ugh, fudge. It was really nice meeting you today. So yeah, I think
Thank you so much, Christopher. And we're looking for another episode if you want. If you want to squeeze it in your busy schedule. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thanks.